Welcome to the tutorial on how to make AI Pacenotes work. It is an awesome tool to make BeamNG into a rally game. So first of all, you need the files. The files can be found in the link in the description, and you're going to need to open RaceLink once you have those files, and you need to put the AI Pacenotes unpacked mod in the mods folder, just in the mods folder in BeamNG. So I have a folder here for 0.31. That is the newest version of BeamNG. So wherever you have that located, the mod folder right here is where you want to put AI Pacenotes. And you don't need to unzip it. Just keep it zipped. Keep it zipped up, or you're going to get in trouble, boy. Now, we want to open up RaceLink. We want to make sure this is active in the background the entire time we are using the application. Now what we want to do is open up the game. You want to make sure and go to your repository, go to Mods Manager, and make sure your AI Pacenotes is activated, first of all. You don't need to unpack it. So now we want to go to Free Roam and choose any map you want. We're going to go to Bardiff Stage, the Mediterranean Special Stage number 1. You can find this on the repository. Let's get into a more appropriate car for what we're about to do. We're going to get into a different vehicle that's automatic. Now, we want to push F11 on the keyboard. That's going to bring you into the world editor. It might take a little while to load for you. You want this setup right here. You want mission editor, race tool, rally editor, and I think in the window section here, I think that's where you can add this stuff. So if you go to, where is it? Missions, and then go to mission editor, you'll be able to get that going. But anyway, so you want to go to your mission editor. And I already named a stage here, Barbadafian, like a Bardoff, but like a barbarian. So let's just do this from the beginning. So we're going to do File, New Mission, and we want to have the mission type. This is very important. The mission type needs to be Rally Stage. Right here. Okay. Now you need to name it so you know what the hell it is. So let's see. Okay, our stage name is Go to Church! ! Okay, so create mission. And now we have this stuff right here. We'll kind of make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. First of all, we need to change the fact that it's a closed circuit because this is a point A to point B race. Unless you want a closed circuit, you can do that too. So we also need to check a vehicle used. So we want to make sure own vehicle is selected. Okay, so now we want to hit save, this little floppy disk looking thing. So now we have the actual mission, but we have to make start and end points. So now we need to go to race tool. Okay, and you see right here, we have 2 issues. 1, there's no start position, and 2, there's no path nodes. And you can hold the right mouse button here, and you can look around the world, and you can also use WASD to move around in the world. And if you hold shift at the same time, you can, double your speed. So if you want to travel a long distance, we need to hit new, and then we need to hit shift. Now you can see it says add manual path node. So we need to get to where we want to be, which I guess right here, actually. We just need to make a basic start and end. It doesn't need to be in perfect locations because you can adjust all that later. But let's say we're looking here. So we need our start position, hold shift, and then while you're holding the left mouse button, you can actually rotate it to face the direction you want. Okay, so that's good. Now we can also use down to terrain if it's kind of like in a weird wonky place, or align with terrain if it's like a little bit odd, but you can also manually do it if you push 1, 2, and 3. These are ways you can rotate, you can do like tilt things, and then also you can stretch it out if you want for certain things. You can make it bigger, not with the start position, but like if you're talking about like path nodes or assets, that's how you can do that. Save. We want to hit save for everything we do, just so we don't lose progress, and also so we can make sure that the system is recognizing that we're changing something. Okay, so now we want to go to path nodes up here. Same thing. You want to hit new, and then you want to hit shift, and you want to put it kind of near the front here. I don't know if this is okay to do this, honestly, but I like to grow my path node a little bit larger than the size of the road, because if you end up going off the path, I think it's possible that the Pacenotes won't call out. And now we're just going to pick a random point. I'm just going to go we're just going to do a few corners here just to give you an example of what's going on. We'll end it right here. So we'll hit shift again and left click and see how I'm making it wider, because that's a pretty reasonable thing. If you go a little bit further off, that'd be extreme. Now we want to go to track layout. We have the start position. That one's the default start position is very important. The end node and start node are also important. The rest of it you don't really need to deal with unless you want to get more advanced. We need to make sure the end node is this node right here, and you'll see that the path node is numbered. Okay, we want to hit save, hit F11. So we do need to set a button for this Recce function. So we need to hit escape and go to options, and then go to controls, and you want to find gameplay. Open that up, and then cut voice transcription AIP is what you want to set. You can set it on your keyboard, you can set it on your wheel, whatever, just as long as it doesn't interfere with another function, you're good. Now we hit back. I want to go to UI apps now. Hit add apps. So you want everything that has to do with AI Pacenotes to be activated, right? We want the corner calls, we want the code driver. You can also hit search right here and then just type in AI, and you can find all of it right here. AI code driver, Pacenotes, Pacenotes, Pacenotes. So you want these activated. Okay, so once you got that, you can go down to this drop-down menu, and you can find, so we have Rally and Recce. So Recce will have a collection of applications. We have the severity of the turns, so you can get a little bit more consistency. Okay, so now you also see that we have this right here, and you can move this stuff wherever you want. If you hit Edit Apps, you can literally just drag, and you can also make things bigger if you want, but obviously it's best just to keep things as small as possible. You can also hit hide in cockpit, which you wouldn't want to do for a lot of these applications, but you can hide things and just have them be running in the background. Driveline and voice. These are options you can select here. Now voice, if you select this, this will allow you to, while you're driving, every time you hit cut, whatever you've said before you hit cut, the AI Pacenotes will translate whatever you said to text. So if you want that function, you need to click this before you get going. Driveline is, it's literally a bunch of waypoints that get recorded. Like every movement of the wheel, every certain distance, a waypoint gets set. On the second run, if you want to adjust some Pacenotes or add some things, you can choose to not use this function. Same with voice, if you want to just kind of refine things. You need to make sure that your stage name is appropriate right here. Okay, so go to church is set. We want to hit load. And if you don't see things, you can hit refresh missions, and then things will repopulate. Go back to your race link application, and you need to make sure in Rally, you need to make sure you're on the correct stage name. So I'm on MS_S1. That's the map I'm on. You hit the little arrow here, and then you keep on going until you find your actual stage name. So this is the go to church one. So you need to make sure that's highlighted, and you see notebooks and voice recording. So right here, you can test if your voice recording is working. You need to make sure your audio input and output are correctly set. To test it out, we can do this. Hello, people of the world. This is the tutorial for the AI Pacenotes. Cut. And let's see if text is, okay. Hello, people of the world. This is the tutorial for the AI Pacenotes. So it is properly working. If we hit it, cut again. Okay, so this one, if it fails an unknown, sometimes you've said things unclearly, but the recording of your voice is still saved. So this is just like to test if the microphone is picking up what you are laying down. Now, notebook, this is something that we're going to deal with later. These are all previous notes that I've recorded just for testing.
Freaky deaky.
Either minimize this or move it out of the way. Make sure that that's active in the background. So we don't want to be actually on the mission. We want to be in free roam mode when we're making these notes. I'm just going to do a very short demonstration. You don't even need to get to your final waypoint. But I'm going to do like a few corners here to show you the process. Make sure we're on the right thing again, right? And if we have to refresh a mission. So load, and then we want to hit start. Caution, rocky over crest, downhill, right to over bump. There's one note. Left 3, bumpy. Left 4, right 4 into left 2, right 4 over jump maybe, stay middle, downhill, left 4 into off camber, right hairpin, rocks outside. Right 2 into left 1, fence outside. Right 4 into left 1, long, widens and tightens. Downhill. Caution, bump inside. Right 1. Okay, and then we want to hit stop whenever you're done. So you can see that it processed what we were doing there. So you can kind of see if it's working. Okay, so now we want to hit F11, go back to the world editor. We can hit pause too. And you want to go to open rally editor. Now we need to go to Recce right here in the tab and go to import. And then we have all of our notes right here. And you'll notice there's an exclamation mark here. That means these paste notes have an error. And all of them should have an error at first. That's normal. What it's saying is a problem is either there's no punctuation. So depending on your punctuation, if you have like an exclamation mark, a period, a question mark, it'll change the vocal inflection. So if you want to sound like a rally co-driver and you want things to end like this and like this, you know, left 5 into right 6, you want a question mark at the end of every pace note except for the last one. And to finish, that's the final thing. So you need a period at the last pace note. What you can do to do it all automatically at the same time is refresh punctuation. And there you go. Now you'll notice that most things do not have an issue, except for this one, because I think this is an empty pace note. So you would need to write something there. So we can just delete this. Delete. And then this is our actual first note. So now when we select things right here, you can notice that you actually see it in the, let me move this over a little bit. Now you can see things. You can see the actual notes. You can click on the notes. You can click on the outside of the notes and see all of the notes. So if you click on any one of these pace notes, it'll show you the start and end of the corner and the audio trigger. And you can see that this is the drive line right here. All these little dots, this is our drive line. And you can put these anywhere on these dots, as long as you're not interfering with the previous or the next pace note that is. So you can hit 1 and 2 on the keyboard to kind of travel around on your pre-existing notes. You can also add notes if you need to, or you can even combine notes and just get rid of like things. So for instance, if you have 2 or more corners that are really close to each other, sometimes it's best to just have the start and the end at the end of the clump of corners, you know, the clump, instead of just having like one corner. That can add a lot of complexity to the system that's unnecessary. So basically you would just want the co-driver to just call all of those corners out at the same time on the same audio trigger, the same audio cue. So it's very important how you place things, and you'll get the hang of it. You'll kind of get a feel for where things should be. As you can imagine, if you have like 100 pace notes, this might look intimidating, but it's actually a pretty quick process. So you can actually do a similar thing, a little bit more restricted, but more streamlined while you're in game. So you want to hit load, you know, make sure you're actually loading the proper notes, and then you want to hit edit right here. And you'll have a sort of stripped down version of that same editing. I personally prefer using the world editor version of it because I'm more familiar with the whole system. Another thing that you can do that might help, by the way, is adjusting your camera speed. I have it set kind of high, but if you're just wanting to move around kind of slowly, your camera speed can be adjusted right here. If you want like, you know, super fast, you can do that. I usually have it set around like 50 to 80, something like that. And you can adjust the time of day too if things are too dark and you can't see. So as soon as you click these, it'll kind of, you'll feel locked in. You're going to be rotating around that one pace note. But if for any reason you need a little bit more freedom, you can just click on anywhere that's not a pace note, and then you have freedom to move around about the cabin. That was an airplane joke. It wasn't really even a joke. It was just a dumb thing to say. I'm sorry. So remember to hit save after everything you do. I want to remind you of that, because sometimes you'll get done with all this stuff and you'll think you're done, and then you'll realize, you'll exit out of this menu, then you realize, oh, everything I just did is gone. I've done it on a stage where there's like 70 pace notes, and I'm like, no! So it's very important that you save after everything you do. Okay, so if you don't agree with what the talk to text has, translated to, you can also change that here. And also adding punctuation helps. So adding commas, periods, experiment a little bit. If you want to know the position of your steering wheel at any one point, what you can do is show corner calls. So right there, now you can see the maximum that my steering wheel was turned. It says a 1, but I'm going to call it a 2. So that's what it was. It says right 2. So it did say it right. It was just TWO, not TO. Okay, so there's slight issues like that. And you'll see the word WRITE instead of RIGHT a lot. That doesn't matter. It's pronounced exactly the same. So if you're trying to get things done quickly, those things don't matter. But if you want, to have your notes be really tidy, so if you want to share this with someone else, it doesn't confuse anybody. Obviously, you can make those corrections if you feel it's necessary. So make sure to hit save. You can also hit the enter key on the keyboard to make the changes, but always hit save, just in case. As a content creator, when you're making music, you want to save when you make a positive change. It might seem excessive, but there's so many times I've lost a ton of work if I don't hit save. Hit save. I'm going to hide the corner calls just for now, just kind of make it a little bit less cluttered visually. If you hit change edit mode, this little sort of turquoise button, you can say corners, audio triggers, or all. If you go to corners, it'll let you focus only on setting the corners so there's less visual distractions. So the green path node is the start of the corner, and the end path node is red. So visually, the corner starts around here. And visually, the corner ends around here. So now we'll just use our keyboard here and just move through the land with 1 and 2. But this does help to do it like this so you can see everything, and it's quicker like this. You can always come back and adjust them. So if it's not perfect, that doesn't matter. Something you do need to take into account is jumps, crests, features like ruts, rocks, those kind of things. You do actually need to zoom in closer to see where those are so you can place your start and end appropriately if you want to add that to the notes. So right here, right 4 over jump maybe. So where is that jump? It's probably a little bit after this. So we're just going to kind of take a guess right now. But I could also just zoom in, right, if I wanted to with WASD right now with the W. And we can find actually where the jump is. But that doesn't really matter right now. I'm just kind of showing you the workflow. So right here, obviously, that's like the beginning of the corner, and that's about the end. So right 2, so this is the beginning of the right 2, into left 1, fence outside. Here's the fence right here. You can kind of see it. Typically, the end points will be pretty close to where they actually end as long as you are doing the proper steps on your Recce. So as soon as you finish the corner, you should hit the cut button, whatever your cut button is. After you finished what you're saying, hit the cut button. And as long as you do that properly, it's a lot less footwork when you get to this point. Our last note is and downhill, caution bump inside right 1. So this is the right 1 right here. So this would be the start, and that would be the end right there. Okay, so now we need to make sure our audio triggers are close to where we want them. And again, we can adjust things as we go. And we can also test it out. We don't have to make sure it's all perfect visually. We can just actually test it out and see if it feels good audio-wise, because that's what matters most. So depending on where you put the corners start and end, it'll automatically create the distance in between those pace notes. So that's why it's important to have the start and end of the corner as accurate as possible. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter the exact number that you hear, like 40, 50, or whatever. It just gives you a visual representation in your mind about how far it is to the next corner set, or set of corners. It would be a better, less Yoda way to say that. So we have all of our corner start and endings set. So now let's go ahead and set our audio triggers. So the blues are the audio triggers. Click on the corner that we're wanting to address, and we can set this pretty much immediately, because as soon as we start moving, we want to hear those pace notes. Now, I think it will say the first pace note before you start, but you want it set to pretty much as soon as possible for the first pace note. So let's say I'm on a hairpin. I want to hear the next corner either at the start or the middle of the hairpin. So at the very apex of the hairpin, I want to hear the next pace note, so it's not told to me too early and not too late. But sometimes if there's a quicker corner coming up, I will put it at the beginning of that hairpin. So I'm already listening to the next pace note by the time I'm actually to the hairpin. This audio trigger I'm going to want to hear at the beginning of this previous corner. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Into, then, and will be placed automatically in your text. So sometimes you'll see like this right here. My text was actually right 4 into left 1. Long widens and tightens. Based on the distance it was from my last pace note, it actually automatically entered into because it's close enough. You can get to know what and, into, and then means when you hear it, because they do actually have a function in co-driving Pacenotes. So sometimes during the recce, it's best to actually just say what the corner is instead of saying into. So the only time I want to say into, for instance, is if it's in the middle of two corners that are in close proximity and I'm wanting to connect them together. And if you misspell something, whatever you spell, it's going to say it like that. So if you misspell caution and you miss the O, it'll say cotton. So your spelling is very important. Make sure your grammar is as good as possible, and it'll sound more natural. So also, depending on the length of what you have said, it'll speed up or slow down what the AI speaks. So if I say like 3 words, it'll spread it out. It'll be like downhill, caution, bump. But if I say like a bunch of words in one audio trigger in the pace note text, it'll say downhill, caution, whatever. It'll actually say it faster so it can squeeze it in before the next audio trigger. So we have everything set. After you're done, hit save. I'm going to stress that. So you want to make sure and hit this refresh button right here before you continue, because this is very imperative that you hit this. Otherwise, you will get a fatal Lua error, and you might have to do some backtracking on your work. So now you want to go back to Mission Editor, hit File, and Reload Mission System. You want to always do that so you can refresh everything that you've done, because the game doesn't necessarily keep track of things in real time. You need to remind it that it needs to reload everything. Okay, hit Save. So now hit Escape and hit Map, and you can actually scroll down and select your mission. Here's your rally stage right here. Go to church. Okay, quick travel. And for whatever reason, it spawned me right here. That has nothing to do with the mod. That has everything to do with BeamNG and the weird stuff. So let's actually show you how to fix that. Let's go to the world editor. And we'll zoom out here. You see, like, for whatever reason, the mission start is over here. Click this little pencil thing, start editing location. And we can move this wherever we want. So let's move it in an appropriate location, like right here. And you can also see the arrow is pointing the wrong direction. So if you want to fix that, you can hit 2 on the keyboard, and you can rotate it around. And if it's floating a little bit off the ground, click this right here, drops it to the terrain right there. So now you want to hit Finish Editing Location, and then you want to hit Save. Make it to where it's not this sort of pinkish, reddish color. And then save again. Reload Mission System. You want to always reload Mission System before you actually do anything. Okay, so now we hit F11. Now hit Escape. Go to Map. And go to your location, your quick travel. Now it should be set at the proper location. Yes, it is. Hit View Details. And hit Start. Now I'm just trying to include this because if you run into these same issues, you'll know what to do. Here we go.
The first note is, caution rocky over crest downhill right to over bump. May the force be with you. 5,
he has random things that he put
3,
on there.
2, 1, go.
Okay.
Caution rocky over crest downhill right to over bump. Into left
So
3 bumpy.
So if you don't agree with where the pace notes are spoken, you can change that. Also, if the co-driver is too loud, you also have the ability to adjust the co-driver volume in the application itself.
Downhill left 4 into off Miniscamba right hairpin rocks outside.
That's a good example of what I was talking about. Like it'll speak very quickly if you combine a lot of words. So you might want to separate some of those notes if you want it to be spoken at a different rate. You know, it'll show you your best time for, whatever your start and end time is. You can share this project file with someone else and they can do your rally as long as they have the same map. Shout out to Alex Bird for taking the time to help us figure out how to use this mod. He coded this mod himself and he has done a great job refining it. I think this is his third or fourth iteration of the mod. And every time like someone gives him a suggestion, he's very open to it. That is a quality that you'll find in the best developers of anything. The ability to take a suggestion and put it into the code or into the game to make it better for everybody. Have a good day. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.